Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoteric and a continuing mini-series, Halloween Horror. I can't believe it's already October and we're doing this for the second year in a row. But we're taking a look at Spooky's House of Jump Scares, or now Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion. They have changed the name. And since we gave you guys a little bit more of a traditional horror game for the first episode, let's do something a little bit lighter for the second. Although Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion definitely has a lot of horror elements, even if it's kind of played off as more of a childlike horror. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like, subscribe, and that notification bell definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, we got a Patreon link down there as well. But Spooky's House of Jump Scares, I'm just going to be calling it by its original name, has been around for about 5 years now, and it is a free game to download. This does not cost anything, and it's a really strange and fun and scary experience all at once. You'll see here as we enter the mansion, here's Spooky, and she's just telling us that this is her house, and we need to get to the end of the mansion. And the rooms are numbered. We start in room 0, and the goal is to get to the end, room 1000. And I will say that this game is a slow burn, and it is quite deceiving, because the way that Spooky's talking to you, it seems kind of like a comedy game. But as we move a little bit further into the game, things are going to start to unravel and pervert and get a little bit stranger than you would expect for such a colorful and simple game. And I think that's why this game is so unique and so interesting. If you've ever played the Stanley Parable, this game is very similar in the way that it kind of just doubles back and changes on itself and kind of switches the narrative on you as you go along. You'll see there our first jump scare is just a coffee cup smiling on a stick, but it still will jump scare you. This game is filled with them and it's right in the title, so you'd expect that they're going to be telling you the truth. But the reality is the meta story underneath what we're seeing right now. You get these little notes throughout the game, and as you go further and further into the mansion, the notes become more unhinged, they become stranger, and there's actually a lot of horror, like traditional horror, coming through in the narrative. And I really appreciate that juxtaposition between this bright, colorful environment, all these happy cardboard cutouts, and what the game's going to turn into. And I like that it kind of plays with your expectations. And you'll see here, even by the time we get to room 8, things are getting a little bit darker and a little bit more ominous, but we're still kind of just coasting through the intro to the game. And I'm just going to be showing you guys through about room 60, because the further you get into this game, the weirder it gets, the stranger it gets, the more just straight horror it becomes. There's chase sequences, there's puzzles, there's all sorts of strange things that you wouldn't expect to encounter in a game like this. And that's why I included it on this year's Halloween horror games, because I wanted to do something a little bit more mixed up and unique and bring some more experience that aren't just horror wearing on their sleeve types of games. Because I will say, there you go again, that little ice cream cone. It did scare me. You see the mouse move. It's not what it is that's scary. It's the fact that this game is constantly going to be throwing things right in front of you. But you see we have another note now, and we're getting a little bit more narrative in the story about the person that came through before us. And that's going to be a string that weaves through the entire tale of what Spooky's House of Jump Scares is really going to be telling us. And that's why I love it so much, is that you keep playing this game. Every time you play it, things are slightly different. Every time you play, you get a little bit further, understanding what the game asks of you. But this is almost like a roguelike, except you're not doing any sort of power-ups. You're just continuing to go through the mansion. And you'll see sometimes you get successive rooms that don't really have anything going on in them. But then all of a sudden, the game will really open up and give you chunks of story and chunks of content. Now suddenly, we're only in room 20, and it stops being a happy ice cream cone or a happy coffee cup, and it actually becomes a gory skull. So you can see slowly and subtly the story, the environment, what's happening in the game is changing. This letter writer is now drinking ink because he has an unquenchable thirst and he can't find water. And what else is he going to drink throughout the story of Spooky's House of Jump Scares? That's the most interesting part, is he's found a bottle of red wine, but it tastes a little bit more metallic than you would expect it to. And I'm not sure if you're a wine drinker or not. I'm not a huge fan, but I know it's not usually metallic in nature. But what I really love about this game is that it takes the childlike aspects, bright colors, cute things, and starts turning them into horror, because even in horror films, a lot of children or children's objects can be haunted or have other horror elements tied to them. And it's been a trope of the horror genre for the longest time that sometimes children can be the scariest things around, and Spooky's House of Jump Scares is definitely using that. It starts light and cute, and before you know it, this game just becomes a complete dark and twisted mess of things that you would not expect out of the game. And when the game first came out, nobody really knew that either going in. It was kind of an unraveled mystery. And see, we're back to cute again. We have that skeleton. Of course, he is a skeleton, but it doesn't really look too scary whatsoever compared to that gory skull that we saw. We get a little bit of religious iconography, and we've saved our game every 50 floors, and we have a cute cat poster saying hang in there. But the letter writer says, I don't think that was wine. And of course, it's not. It was blood that he was drinking. And you can even see blood on the elevator button there as we go further down into the house to see what's coming next. What I want to let you do is just listen to a little bit of the music, as it is quite disconcerting and kind of ambient in a way where the tones and the keys aren't in tune. It just has a really great horror sound to it. So go ahead and listen for about 30-45 seconds, and I'll be back and tell you more about why you should download this game, especially because it's free. Those are not the type of sounds you would expect out of a cute child's game called Spooky's House of Jump Scares, or Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion now. And you can see as we get further down into this game, we're at room 60 now, things are becoming a lot stranger. And we have this little pile of goo on the floor, and we're going to find out very quickly what that is. But now we have this note about ingesting innards, invoking things, nailing and choking. And that's definitely not the same tone the Spooky introduced the game when we first started on room 0. And now suddenly you're being attacked, and you're going to find out what the real hook of the game is. This is a game where you're constantly being chased. You need to navigate your environment. You need to get the story clues. You need to constantly be having forward progression, because there is something out to kill you basically at every single moment in this game. Run through the doors. Try to navigate. Make sure you don't get stuck on edges. Don't pick the wrong direction. Don't go left, maybe go right. I'm kind of speeding up to kind of give you an articulation of what the stress of this game really is. You can't stop moving. You must move forward. Do I go left? Do I go right? I decided to go left. I'm going to find a dead end. That's not good. The health regenerates quickly, but not quickly enough. There's a table and nothing on it. And as we come around the corner, that monster is back. We escaped. We got past him. Can we make it to the next room? That's constantly what you're thinking when you play this game. Keep moving forward. Don't get killed. I don't want to start back at floor 0. I spent about 8 minutes getting to this area. Come around the corner. There's more goo on the floor, and you died. And that is Spooky's House of Jump Scares. It is a very strange, very weird game that is totally playing against your expectations. But do me a huge favor, go down below and hit like, subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Love chatting with you guys. I will be back next Tuesday with another episode in the Halloween Horror 2021 series. And I'll have videos on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday as well. But thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't get jump scared today. Bye-bye.